A triple header of WNBA action on this Tuesday night that we preview for you on the early line on SportsGrid. DRS, it should be a good week of WNBA games. We will have history later this week as well in Boston. In fact, it is tonight, if I am not mistaken, between the Connecticut Sun and the LA Sparks. But first, we start with the WNBA's best team at home back in Brooklyn, 23-4. That's the New York Liberty. They have been victorious in each of their first two games following the long Olympic break. Make that 6 straight wins as you date back to the action in the middle of July. The Liberty getting ready to host the Dallas Wings tonight at home. It is a 12.5-point spread in favor of New York inside the Barclays Center. Total of 176.5.
Yeah, probably going to be an absolute roll job tonight. By the way, let me ask you this question. Following along with the WNBA, they had that long break. Some teams have played, I think, as many as 28 games. How many? Is it 40?
Right.
How long is the season itself? Is it 40 games?
40. Yeah, for a second consecutive year, they are playing 40 WNBA regular season games. Yes, there have been teams that have already hit 28 games. That would include the Fever, 13-15. The Mercury are 15-13, rather, and the Atlanta Dream, 9-17. But there are still some teams, for instance, the Connecticut Sun who play tonight, 19-7, only 26 games. Everybody has played at least 26, though.
Yeah, get a little condensed here in the month of August. Should be fun to watch.
Sure.
But if you're looking at favorites, the same way we talk about like a Major League Baseball season, Ben, you have the haves and the have-nots late in the season. Teams start to round in the form knowing that they're headed for a championship or headed for probably not even making the postseason. You take a look at the Liberty and the Wings. That should be a blowout victory to me. We'll get to some other games here on the schedule a little bit later in this. But for my money, I'm taking a look at the teams that absolutely know they need to win, and that's the Liberty to stay up top. I think they blow it out tonight.
When you look at the Dallas Wings, though, because there are only 12 teams in the WNBA and the top 8 make the postseason, last year we had 4 teams go into the playoffs with a winning record. 4 were sub 500 and still made the playoffs. Going to be tougher to do that right now. Indiana and Chicago both would be playoff teams if the season ended today, both below 500, but the Fever playing such better basketball since a 2-9 start, of course. They have won 11 of their last 17 games. Dallas at this moment behind Chicago by 4.5 games. They have to start turning it on. They have one of the best bucket getters in all of the WNBA, and Arike Ogunbowale, but New York continues to keep pace. 23 wins, 23-4 right now. The only team that has reached a 20-win benchmark in the W, and they have 23. So as I said, history tonight in Beantown. It is the first ever WNBA game ever contested inside TD Garden in Boston. The Sun get ready to host the Los Angeles Sparks, who are on a 4-game skid. Connecticut, a 13.5-point home favorite, although home is in Boston this time around. 157.5 is that over-under.
Yeah, I don't think the Sparks are even going to show up in this game. I mean, quite frankly, coming right out of the break, just getting pasted. They're getting basically 2 touchdowns here at the guard of the Connecticut Sun. Once again, the haves and the have-nots. Sparks are done for the season. The Connecticut Sun are still playing for something. Obviously, I think the Sun blow them out of the water, too. 20-plus points tonight, PWS. Blowout.
Yeah, I don't mind that look, DRS. I think the enthusiasm is going to be sky high inside TD Garden. Of course, we know Connecticut is the best defensive team in the WNBA. I would keep an eye on that total. Right before the Olympic break, we saw a big trade in the W. The Sky sent Marina Mabry to Connecticut. She adds on some perimeter shooting for this Sun team that, if they are going to contend for a WNBA championship, needs to add it up a little bit from deep. 2.5. Her 3-point prop tonight. Keep an eye on the over. DeWanna Bonner has been great all year for Connecticut, has looked rejuvenated since the long All-Star and Olympic break. 16.5 is her points prop tonight. So the Liberty in front of the Aces, now at plus 120 to win a WNBA title. Las Vegas and New York, of course, who faced off last year in the WNBA Finals, were co-favorites after the Olympic break at plus 155. A little bit of separation now for New York in front of Vegas.
Yeah, it is kind of interesting with that move because a lot of the times, even looking and handicapping the NBA itself, you're not really worried about the record. It's just how these teams are going to show up and what you feel they can be in the playoffs. But now we're starting to separate ourselves here with the Liberty, 23-4 on the season. They do look like the best team, as opposed to the Aces. We're saying maybe they have the best player, and that's what shows up in the playoffs.
And that was represented, of course. The Libs went into Vegas and knocked off the Aces inside a very difficult place to win, the Michelob Ultra Arena, on Saturday night, winning by double digits, 79-67. The Seattle Storm and the Washington Mystics, that rounds out our triple header on this Tuesday in the W.